I mean, these words, tactical, strategic. So these are war terms anyway. So it's not just chess. Chess didn't invent new war terms. Strategy and tactics, but tactical dispositions. So Sun Tzu said, the good fighters of old first put themselves beyond the possibility of defeat, and then waited for an opportunity of defeating the enemy. Now this echoes Nimzowitsch. If any of you have read Nimzowicz's My System, this definitely sounds like Nimzowitsch about putting reinforcing the position first before going on to the attack. It echoes here that if you want to play for a win, you put yourself beyond defeat first, and then you start going on the attack. Like playing a few prophylaxis moves first, like Carlsen plays king to a1, king b1 and king a1, then he carries on with his kingside attack. So he's basically following the art of war. The good fighters of old put first themselves beyond the possibility of defeat. He beat Nakamura like that. So Nakamura hasn't got any winning attack or anything. It gives Carlsen a few extra moves to play with for his own attack, which breaks through on the king side without his king getting checkmated. So that's definitely like Prophylaxis and Nimzowitsch generally. Would you agree with that? I think that one's definitely of huge relevance to attacking, because it's essentially how you manage resources in a competitive context. I think so. To secure ourselves against defeat lies in our own hands, right? So we can do that, but the opportunity of defeating the enemy is provided by the enemy himself. So maybe they haven't got weaknesses, so that they'll provide weaknesses and blunders. So they'll provide the defeat sometimes. Fire rights. Well, it's said. Yeah. Blunders. That if a chess game is played perfectly, it should be a draw. Yes. So, okay. So, I mean, Nimzowitsch is talking about position security. I don't know if he's nicked this entire section, but the whole idea of prophylaxis is to provide a sense of overprotection and a lot of other things. The centre is to provide a sense of security in your position, which is beyond like if-then analysis. You're just making your position very strong. Say you're overprotecting e5, all your pieces will be centrally placed and strong, and it will be difficult for you to lose. And then you use that strong position as a basis for attacking the opponent. So this is echoing definitely, I think, these first two. So the good fighter is able to secure himself against defeat, but cannot make certain of defeating the enemy. So it's saying that prophylaxis is a certainty, and this is very, very interesting now. I think I'm starting to be more awake now, because we wouldn't get this from My System. This is a gap. Basically, the way I'm interpreting this is overprotection. You can guarantee if you can almost guarantee you can overprotect, but in certain variations of French, if black hits hard to undermine your overprotection, they can knock it out straight away. But if they don't, then you can reinforce, like say e5. So I'm not sure this is a certainty. Well, I don't know why he says it's a certainty and the other is an uncertainty. I think maybe both have uncertainties. What do you think? Fine. I'm not really sure about that. It's more certain that you can strengthen your position rather than attack the opponent. Okay, so hence the saying, yeah, it depends on errors the opponent's making, etc. So hence saying one may know how to conquer without being able to do it. One may know how to conquer without being able to do it. Right. Security against defeat implies defensive tactics. Well, defensive tactics, I suppose overprotection is a form of defense, but it's kind of aggressive at the same time if your pieces are very good. If they're centrally placed, they have the flexibility to go onto the attack or to defend. Right. So ability to defeat the enemy means taking the offensive. But I think this is the same, in karate or boxing. If you're about to throw a punch, you're going to be off balance. So you're sort of balancing yourself first before throwing a punch. But on the other hand, there might be an optimal point, where you don't need to strengthen your own position. You just go for the attack because the opponent might not have developed all their pieces yet. And, maybe it's better to attack without doing any waffly moves, So, fire rights, you know how to do a hack attack, but it will come to no effect if the position is solid. Yeah. Point 6, standing on the defensive indicates insufficient strength. Attacking a super abundance of strength. I don't know about that. The general who is skilled in defense hides in the most secret recesses of the earth. He who is skilled in attack flashes forth from the topmost heights of heaven. Thus, on the one hand, we have the ability to protect ourselves, on the other, a victory that is complete. To achieve victory only when it is within the ken of the common herd is not the acme of excellence. This is lost on me. In fact, the wording loses me. The ken of the common herd is not the acme of excellence. Nope. Neither is the acme of excellence if you fight and conquer and the whole empire says well done. Okay. So fire rights, Mikhail Tal springs to mind somewhere. So to lift an autumn hair is no sign of great strength. To see the sun and moon is no sign of sharp sight. To hear the noise of thunder is no sign of a quick ear. Point 7, Mikhail Tal, skilled in defense, but those on the okay. What the ancients called a clever fighter is one who not only wins, but excels in winning with ease. Now, when I remember Michael Adams, Grandmaster Michael Adams, he was around about the same age, and he was winning games with ease, without much calculation effort. He was just, positionally crushing people, and he did make it look easy. Even the way he moved his pieces, they glided effortlessly. The way he moved his pieces, he moved them in an aesthetic, calming way. I don't know if it's coming from Cornwall, and he's calm because he's from Cornwall or something. But everything about his game made it look like dead easy. He was completely crushing, GMs, IMs without any effort. Or Coulson, yeah. Okay. So hence his victories bring him neither reputation for wisdom nor credit for courage. Neither reputation for wisdom nor credit for courage. He wins his battles by making no mistakes. I guess if we did post-mortem analysis of the Coulson game, there'd hardly be any mistakes. Even if we checked with an engine, you get the impression that there's hardly any mistakes. So making no mistakes is what establishes the certainty of victory. For it means conquering an enemy that is already defeated. But what if, unless they were, is the assumption that they're making mistakes. Hence, the skillful fighter puts himself into a position which makes defeat impossible. Okay, so that's like prophylaxis, overprotection, centralization, and all the other things which increase your own position security, and does not miss the moments for defeating the enemy. Okay, so still like having the tactical ability to go for the attack. Oh, hi, just nice. I think many of this, just nice, echoes in Nimzovich's My System. Several times Nimzovich has said, basically, these points about consolidating the position first before going on to the attack. And it's an ancient war, thing to do this. That if you want to win, you put yourself beyond defeat first, then go on to the attack. Myself, though, I'm a bit sceptical because sometimes, you can just go for the attack without worrying too much, and sometimes you're just padding out your moves. If you're, you can be padding out your moves. When was a long time ago, yeah. But it's this basic idea of competing resources, isn't it, with a competitor. So point 15. Thus, it is in war, the victorious strategist only seeks the battle after the victory has been won, whereas he who is destined to defeat first fights and afterwards looks for a victory. So only seek a battle after the victory has been won. Sometimes someone might be getting tired. You're watching them play loads and loads of blitz games, and it's only then that you challenge them because you're quite fresh. So you've got an idea in your mind that you might beat them, or if you've identified weaknesses in their openings, so you've got something prepared, and so you only sort of play them when you've got a high probability in your own mind for why you might beat them, or they might be tired. So maybe that's being clever, that you've got the anticipatory model that you've already beaten your opponent, and if you're in like a FIDE tournament, you'll be preparing for opponents like the next day. So you sort of, Kasparov would find all these traps within their opening repertoire using chess base, where he'd almost like beat them in his analysis room, even before he went to play them. Like this Hamburg simultaneous, he wiped out them in the simul because he knew their opening weaknesses. So he'd only seek to play them after the victory had been won. He cracked their openings beforehand. So you can get this conceptual battle beforehand without risking the battle. You see what I mean? You can be prepared. You can have a high probability of winning before you even go to play. And I think for my own chess, I like to have concepts anyway before any game, and not just during the game. I like to have these ideas, strategic crush, positional sacrifices before the game, which give me a sort of probability of winning. So even before I don't like to think of all my ideas during the game, but you can take that with opening preparation or other sorts of preparation, I think. So that's very interesting, that you seek to win before the actual battle. If I write, sorry, I mean, seek battle is like a pawn push, but you're not certain you have. I'm not really sure. Yeah, the consummate leader cultivates the moral law and strictly adheres to method and discipline. Thus, it is in his power to control success. Right. In respect of military method, we have first measurement, second estimation of quantity, third calculation, fourthly balancing of chances, fifth victory. Preparation, yeah. Measurements owes its existence to earth. Estimation of quantity to measurement, calculation to estimation of quantity, balancing of chances to calculation, and victory to balancing of chances. That's lost me. I think you need to refer back to okay. A victorious army opposed to a routed one is as a pound's weight placed in the scale against a single grain. Yeah. The onrush of a conquering force is like the bursting of pent-up waters into a chasm of 1,000 fathoms deep. Might have to come back to this at some point, but many of this does echo for me. Here in particular with Nimzovich. You know, this stuff here, putting yourself beyond defeat. This is overprotection prophylaxis. I thought Nimzovich had got this stuff from the Art of War. Because where else would Nimzovich have got the ideas of prophylaxis? This is prophylaxis, isn't it? Essentially, you're putting yourself beyond defeat. That is prophylaxis. A whole repertoire of Nimzovichian ideas are related to prophylaxis, which is basically putting yourself beyond defeat. Wouldn't you say that? Fine. Well, I think so anyway. So I think we'll save this section for here. I think this was the most interesting section so far, because I think it is very Nimzovichian, this section, but it's actually under tactical dispositions, not strategic. Okay, we'll save it there, yeah.